And we should already be streaming on Twitch. Okay, Twitch. So let me get. Yep, Twitch has the podcast, so they're going to hear the sound and see anything that I post on my left monitor. Okay, so they'll see that. I'll go ahead and switch it to the left monitor now, and then. All right, so here we go. I'm streaming. Yes. Okay. Okay, and we should already be streaming on Twitch. Okay, Twitch. Got to turn that volume off. Okay, I had something else playing. Okay, so what am I trying to say? Lose my mind. Should capture that. Oh well, you see this like black box right here. I thought I had chat going into that, but it doesn't look like it is, so I'm not too worried about it though. All right, let me pull up my script here. All right, everybody. Well. And this is from the verse number 2. We're going to be talking about the economy. Welcome, everybody. My name is Mr. Everything, and we've got a couple of different guests with us tonight. We have Wholearmor. He's one of the group commanders for the 1st Royal Aerospace Squadron. And we also have Irishdon, and I think he has a number too, 3407. Yeah, but we just call him Irish. You know, now go ahead. I want to ask each of you to introduce yourself and tell you like a little bit about yourself, starting with Wholearmor.
Hello, everybody. This is Wholearmor, major of the fighter group of the 1st Royal Aerospace Squadron. I love this game, and I love the unit, and I'm glad that I was able to meet Mr. E and come to the squad. I found this squadron almost by accident, searching for which organization I was going to be in, and 1st Royal Aerospace was on the first page, so I jumped in, and I've been with them ever since.
All right, and Irish, just introduce yourself and say a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Irishdon. I usually go by the name Irish, and I'm a 17-year military veteran, and I stumbled across Mr. E here on a YouTube video looking up Star Citizen one day and Chris Roberts Robert Space Industries, and I've always been waiting for a game like this. I've always been into Call of Duty and like EverQuest and stuff like that, games that were long and outdrawn. And when I saw this game, I knew that this is what I wanted, and then I saw the Royals and I joined.
Awesome. Okay, we our main guests that were going to be here tonight all had previous engagements or were not able to make it, so and that's unfortunate. So we're going to drive on, and tonight we're going to be talking about the economy in Star Citizen. I mean, there's not a lot that we know about the economy, but there's a lot of stuff that we can suppose, and we can just go on what we've heard and talk about what we'd like to see and how we might impact it or affect it. But before we do that, I've got a few topics that I want to just share. We're going to talk about what's going on in the real world, like what each of us are doing in the real world to prepare for Star Citizen. Now, myself, personally, I'm actually, since the dogfighting modules come out, I've been doing a lot of fighting with the dogfighting. I've been tweaking loadouts. I've been trying different control schemes like joysticks, mouse, or throttle, or keyboard, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out like what my best way to play the game is. I know that's only one aspect of Star Citizen, but that's kind of what I've been doing lately. I've also been researching video cards to see if there is a video card that I would be able to do my full 3-monitor display without losing a lot of graphical fidelity. So, how about you, Wholearmor? Like, what are you doing to prepare for Star Citizen?
Well, it's a lot like what you said is exactly the same thing that I'm doing. I don't have a HOTAS, but what I am doing is practicing how to use my Razer Sabertooth Xbox controller, and learning how to master the keyboard and mouse, because I think that's going to be important just in case I drop my controller. But yeah, same here. I'm trying to find a decent enough graphics card so when the game actually roll out in its entirety, I can have the GPU power already in place to enjoy the prettiness of the game.
Exactly. Yeah, and be able to compete, because you can crank the graphics up, but then you might not play as well. And then if you lower the graphics to play better, you might not be. Then now you're not enjoying the game really.
Right.
So yeah, I understand that. How about you, Irish? Like, what are you doing to prepare yourself for Star Citizen? I mean, are there other games you're playing, or what are you doing with your hardware, or anything? Any topics?
Well, as of right now, I've been concentrating, much like the rest of us here in the squadron, basically working with an Xbox controller, Microsoft. I've tried the keyboard and mouse. I've also tried the flight stick, and I never really got into that because I've always been an Xbox type person. Games that I've been playing right now is X3, War Thunder, and a couple other games like Mech Warrior and stuff like that to work on team skills.
Okay, so yeah, so like War Thunder. Yeah, I mentioned that last week that I played a little War Thunder to get started myself, but that was mainly just so I could break in my joystick. So, all right, well that's good. So now let's talk about what's actually going on in the current events of Star Citizen, because there's a lot of things that are happening lately that are kind of exciting. And the biggest thing that happened since the last time we did the show was the Next Great Starship had their finale, right? And they voted in the 4 horsemen, and they won. And we all got to see their gunship. So, what do you guys think about the gunship from the 4 horsemen?
Well, overall, Irish here. Overall, I loved both ships. I mean, both of them look like very capable gunships and could have had a positive crew. One thing that did set off, the Shui Monkey, or what's the name of their group, but
yeah, that's an Infinite Shui Monkey.
Yeah, I love the way they put that gold on the thrusters. That was just amazing. And I mean, overall, both ships were amazing. So good job to both.
Right.
Yeah, I really like both of them too. The what they did and hard work that they put into that, and the fidelity, they really nailed the fidelity A lot of people was talking about the landing gear on the Four Horsemen, the rear landing gear, I should say, and kind of look, little too bulky. But I feel the same way too. But other than that, man, the competition, the whole show that went into that, and all the people that participated, that was epic. That's epic. And for them people that the last two ships, beautiful, great job, great job.
Yeah, I mean, I liked both of those ships, and I'm looking forward to maybe carrying some Marines into a cap ship and dropping them off and letting them raise some hell. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I liked it. That if they offered that as a ship that you could pledge for, I might have pledged for it, because it's just that good. But but now I think I'm past. I think I'm kind of past the pledge point right now, because I'm sitting at over 450. So I think I'm just gonna wait till in game before I get any more ships, because I got the Retaliator and the Hornet. So I think that's enough for me right now.
Right.
But okay, let's look at the next thing that happened. We hit 46 million. And what do you guys think about that? Let's start with the Wholearmor. What did you think about hitting the 46 million?
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hitting $46 million like that in independent game development. There's no words that can describe that. That's legendary. That's like first of its kind legendary.
Yeah.
And there's no other. Well, a lot of independent game developers, a lot of them can do it too. But when you look in gaming and the funding of gaming, there's two sides to the fence. You have independent gaming and you have publishing gaming. And there's a night and day difference right there. That shows people or the industry, the gaming industry, what people really want and really have a passion for, and proof is in the pudding. $46 million in climate, man, unprecedented. I love it.
And what about you, Irish? What'd you think about it when we hit 46?
It's totally phenomenal. I mean, you look at the commercials on TV now with Call of Duty and stuff like that. You just realize how much they put into their marketing aspects. And Star Citizen has not done that. They haven't really come out and said, "Hey, here's our commercial." It's really been crowdfunded, and it's been up to the people to really take the pieces that they're putting out and creating videos. And it's just amazing that it's had this kind of following. I think within the next 2 years we'll be over 1 million players.
Right.
Yeah.
And I may add is that this starts a new wave. This starts a whole new wave of doing things. The way Chris Roberts and his team, Cloud Imperium Games, is they have set the bar really high for other upcoming game developers, and allows the publishers to really take a look and say, hey, things are starting to change here, so we're gonna have to get with this, because having this crowdfunding situation going on and seeing the success of it is going to force a lot of people to rethink how games are developed in the future.
You're right. There's they made a lot of money without having to do their traditional advertising and all that stuff. They did some advertising online and stuff, but it was most of it word of mouth. But like you said, it's starting a new wave and a new generation. I took that as I agree with you on that, but I have a different spin on that. When you look at what money they've raised, up to this point, right? 45, let's say 45 million up to this point, and there was really nothing you could do in this game. There was, you had the hangar module. You could walk around and look at your ship, and that was it. There was nothing else.
Right.
But now that you actually have a playable element, the dogfighting module is out there that you can actually jump in a ship and fly around and fight against bots. At least it's something, right? That's going to bring in people that would not have pledged before, because now they actually can see a little bit about what this game's about. And as soon as they release the first person shooter module, there's going to be even more people flooding in, because they're going to like that element, because they're used to playing, PlanetSide 2 or Call of Duty or whatever, right? And so they're going to be used to that, and they're going to love it, with the aspect of flying, with the aspect of the economy and all that stuff. So they're going to be, yeah, I think it just means that they're going to grow like at least tenfold, yeah, like you were thinking. There'll be millions. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
First person shooter is like the majority of the gaming industry.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, with the success of Call of Duty, everybody decided they wanted to do some kind of first-person shooter, Yeah. Okay, so let's look at... Oh, there's Pereset. Give me just a second.
Gonna drop one mystery.
Hey, Pereset, you coming down?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Is that
Channel switched.
Okay, Pereset's on his way. I don't know if he needs me to drag him down here or not, but nope, I guess not. Okay. All right, Pereset, welcome to the channel, the show. You just missed the part where we talk about all things cool. No, we're moving on, and you can jump in. This is a good time for you to jump in.
Oh, okay, cool.
What's our impression? We'll start with you because you're a fresh meat. No, what's your impression of the dogfighting module so far?
Of the dogfighting module so far?
Yeah, I know you've had a week or so to play it, and what are you thinking about it?
I can tell you that Wholearmor is succeeding where I've failed.
Nuh-uh.
So, knocking out stuff right and left. Meanwhile, I'm struggling with it here. But then, one of the things that I've discovered, of course, with the dogfighting module is that in order to play this game, even in alpha at this stage right now, definitely you need to have some really good equipment, and that includes your video card. So that is something that I'm going to have to save up for one. So
yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing some research. The 770 is on my horizon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 770. Okay, what about you, Wholearmor? Like, what's your impression of the dogfight module so far? Being the group leader of our fighters, what do you think?
I think that's love, man. For them to go ahead and allow us to have that.
Yeah.
And also want to give a shout out to all the young men and women that stayed testing the game over the past weekend, overnight.
Yeah.
To work out all the bugs, even though it's still buggy as all get out. But I would just want to give a shout out to them. My impressions of the dogfight module, aka Arena Commander, is beautiful, man. It's really beautiful. It allows us an opportunity to see how the 300i performs, how the Hornet performs, and you really back earlier we had the talks of the 300i, what we was gonna do with the Hornet and whatnot, and then when you actually sit in it and get to control it and take down the Vandal with it, it's like a rush, like mow them down, another one bites the dust, man. it's I love it, man.
So you're just having a good old time.
Yeah, it's epic.
Okay. Pereset, I don't know what you're typing over there, but it's coming through.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, that's all right. And Irish, what do you think about it?
Well, I enjoy it immensely. You know, it's just it was a little buggy when I first got the patch and everything, and and like I had a conversation with Wholearmor, I think it was yesterday. Restarting your computer after a download or patch is always key.
Yeah.
Not just that, it's still buggy. The bug that bothers me the most is I can't take my chain guns and move them around. I have to leave them where they're at. If I move them to any other hard point on my Hornet, they stop shooting.
That was another thing that I brought up with Wholearmor. They took away my eject respawn, so...
Yeah, that's right. No more exploits. Exploit the free lives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, moving on to the next topic.
Mr. E,
what's up?
Can I add one more thing for
Sure.
for the viewers out there, that's listening to this stream?
Yeah,
and,
the fives of them.
And even for the future viewers that come across this video,
That's right.
Yeah, it is buggy. It got a lot of glitches in it, but just keep in mind that this first iteration of the Arena Commander dogfighting module was for the backers that's playing it, 250,000 plus people that's playing this. It was given to us buggy, so that us as backers and subscribers, people that back the game, and people who are interested in it, they gave it to us so that we can not only play the Arena Commander, but also be a part of helping the dev team work out the bugs. So it's not just on their responsibility to do that. They put some of that responsibility on us to make us feel that not only that we're gamers, but we're also part of the development team. And I love that. I really do love that. That's love.
It's good. It's good that they're sharing that with us. What am I trying to say? That they're allowing us to help them out, Yeah, but most games have alpha testers and beta testers, but not on this scale, not with this many people doing it, So, and by letting us kind of see the game as it comes together, piece by piece, that's cool too. Instead of just waiting till an alpha release comes out with all the aspects, we get to see the alpha being put together, not just like a finished alpha, even though alpha's not finished, but yeah, we get to see each little piece, and I kind of like that too. Okay, moving on. Let's go to our main topic of the day, and the main topic is the economy. Okay, we're talking about. That's right. Now the economy can take a lot of different. What the heck just happened to that? Okay. Economy just went crazy. Okay, my screen just went crazy. The economy has so many different aspects to it. It's complex. There's a lot of variables. There's so much in the economy that we wouldn't be able to talk about it all in a 1-hour show, right? We would have to spend we could break the economy down into individual portions and still spend more than an hour on each of those portions. But that's not the topic of this video. This video is basically just an overview of what the economy is, how it functions, and how we're going to interact with it as players, not as the Royal Aerospace Squadron. That's not, we can leave that out of the subject, though, just as a player of Star Citizen, how people will interact with it and how we might see certain things. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so now the first thing I want to talk about is my take on the economy. Okay, you're going to have NPCs running the universe. Okay, there's going to be 10 NPCs for every player that's out there. So if we have 1,000, or let's say if we have 1 million players playing this game, that means there's going to be 10 million NPCs running around doing their thing. They're going to be running shops, they're going to be running factories, they're going to be carrying cargo, they're going to be pirating, they're going to be doing all that stuff, trying to just various aspects of the economy. And not just the economy, I mean, everything you do impacts the economy. I mean, even if you're just bounty hunting. You're affecting the economy. So, okay. So my first point is there's 10-to-1 NPCs to PCs. So when you go to get your job, let's say you're trying to get you see that there's a note out that there's going to be something produced, and it's like, let's say, iron or something like that. You want to go get the iron. Well, not only are you going to have to you're going to be racing NPCs who are also going to want to be getting that iron. Other players are going to want to be getting that iron, and then yourselves wanting to get that iron. So you're not just racing other players. The NPCs are busy doing their job too. So you got to beat them to the punch. And then maybe you want to carry that to a manufacturing node that's put out a message that they need iron to make armor or something. And you are trying to rush your iron once you get it to that production node so that they can or manufacturing node, so that they can actually create the item. But guess what? So are the NPCs. So you're going to have to be, I'm not saying it's going to be a race, but I'm just saying you're going to be competing with all these other non-player characters. You're going to see AI trying to take your job from you, basically. So, so what do you guys think about all that? Starting with Pereset. Pereset, what do you think?
As far as the economy goes, or as far as mining goes?
As far as competing with NPCs.
Oh, okay.
For acquiring the jobs and like buying and selling and stuff like that.
Yeah, in looking over this, my understanding was that that we'll be able to actually, in some of those different worlds we'll be able to mine, in some of them we'll be able to. I thought it was interesting as far as how this is going to work, in terms of the way we would actually be creating currency and creating trade. My understanding was that so warehousing charges, everything else, that's going to be taking place. Is that correct?
That's second part.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you're jumping ahead.
Sorry.
That's what you get for getting the agenda.
But in looking
just NPCs, like having to compete not only with players but with computer AI for merchant jobs, because in other MMOs everybody just stands around with a star over their head, and all you got to do is walk up to them and say, click merchant, I want to buy a sword, and you buy the sword and you're good and you walk off, and nobody else is competing to buy all those swords from the merchant, and there's a limited number of them, and then when you get there they say, sorry, we're sold out. That's going to happen in Star Citizen. You're not going to see, so I was just wondering how, like, oh, that guy over there, he bought all my swords, because he's taking them to the next planet, So what do you think about that? The NPC's taking your job.
Yeah. At the same time, though, it's going to be out on the open market.
That's right.
That was my understanding. It would actually be coming out on the open market, so it'd still give us a chance to either buy it back or to purchase it and then resell it.
Right.
Ourselves.
That's right. And the NPC's not going to buy it if it's not a lucrative item, right? And so if he's going to buy it, and then he's going to want to sell it to make money, right? And so he might sell it to you, or he might carry it to another planet to sell it. So you might be able to convince him that you can buy it from him, or if you're a less lawful guy, you could just take the swords, or whatever.
Yeah. The funny thing is that it's almost like the old. Well, I don't think anybody remembers this, but there was an old game that we used to play on the BBS. It's called Trade Wars, and Trade Wars was a lot, right, as far as what Chris has posed, as far as working with the NPCs and the NPCs doing this. Trade Wars was a lot kind of the same way. So,
okay. So you had not only the players running around buying up all the commodities, but there were game generated elements that would run around and buy up stuff.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
in some of the larger versions of Trade Wars.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And Wholearmor, what do you think about that?
Competing with all of them NPCs, man. That I think that I don't think it'd be too tough. It's just that every player is just gonna have to find their niche, just like in the real world. You know, some people are build up their own trade, like going into plumbing or landscaping. So every player is gonna have to find their niche, but at the same time, NPCs is gonna have to find their niche too. You know, not all the. I don't think all the NPCs are gonna be selling and buying.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Some of them I think will just be mining or have a job as in just hauling, and that's it.
Yeah, and mine might not even be that. I mean, you might have planetary, you got a ticket agent that's sitting there selling you tickets to the next planet or something.
Right.
There might be a guy might be walking a dog. I mean, you don't know. These NPCs aren't all going to be competing for your job. I'm just saying that there will be some, because there's going to be guys out there. There's going to be mercenaries that need a missile, and you want the missile, and it's going to be by, what do they call it? Supply and demand. So as the supply goes down, the price goes up, and then people stop buying it, and then the supply starts going back up, and so you're going to see a lot of that too.
Yeah.
So Irish.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Irish. I'm going to try to give everybody a chance to say, because I've got a number of topics about the economy that I kind of want to share.
Okay.
Well, my biggest thing is I hope it's kind of like X3 Terran Conflict. I mean, it's kind of ruthless at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that they do have like the star guy above the guy's head, or you can go to the computer terminal and say, oh, this guy needs ore over here to make these missiles or whatever. Well, you got to look at your nav computer and say, well, I got 3 sectors that I can go to get ore. Well, if it's set up like X3, by the time you get to that place that that might have ore at a cheaper price, they might be sold out because the NPCs have already gone and taken it all. So you have to go to another sector to get it.
Right.
But I'm hoping that when you select that star over that guy's head, or go to that computer terminal to select that mission, that it's your mission. And that when the delivery gets there, so maybe you'll get dinged or demetered for showing up late or not being on time. So every minute that you're late, then you'll get dinged a certain amount of money on your load.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about the Merchants Guild having they'll have missions that once someone takes that mission, then that's their mission, and they can control what needs to be done, but you have a certain objective, like you have to get it there by a certain day or by a certain minute or whatever, and if you don't, then you don't get paid, that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be in there, because like a merchant would go to the Merchants Guild and he would say, hey, I've got this mission and I need iron, by Wednesday. Can you get it here? And then the Merchants Guild will say yes. But the problem with that is they're going to take their cut. The Merchants Guild is going to take a cut to be the broker, to be the middleman. And that's actually the topic of my second thing here is there's going to be money sinks in the world. And these are things that just cause money to disappear out of the game. Basically, you go up and you do something, and that money disappears somewhere into the void. Things like fuel costs. I mean, you're going to have to buy fuel, right? And then there's landing fees. You're going to have to pay to land on these planets or space stations or asteroids or whatever. Then there's going to be warehousing charges, like Pereset was saying earlier. For let's say you buy so many missiles, you can't carry them all, but you know that they're a valuable commodity, you might be able to get a warehouse on a planet to save some of your missiles while you take half of them to the next planet. Or maybe the next planet only wants half of them, so you can only carry half but you'll still have the other half available for maybe some future endeavor. Plus you got to pay for life support. You're going to have to pay for ammo, like bullets and missiles. You're also going to have to fight off pirates. Okay, but then there's going to be taxes, brokering fees, crew costs. Okay, if you have like a constellation, let's say, and you've got 3 NPCs running around, you're going to bribes, and and basically, yeah, if you want to entertain, you're going to have to pay for those ladies of the evening or whatever, those escorts, I should say. The merchant ships always are asking for escorts.
Well, I mean, I can see that as a possibility. Saying, we send out a group to protect a supply wagon or whatever, and we know that we can't fight our way through a certain sector. We might have to pay them off just to get through it.
You're right. Yeah. And I don't see a problem with that, in that if it's legitimate, like we're in this area, we're patrolling it, we're keeping it safe. To come through here, we ask for a toll. We want you to pay a toll to get through there. But that's kind of like extortion. So it's like, yeah, we keep it safe, but we wouldn't want it to get rough around your ship, if you don't pay a toll. But that's all. Yeah, that's something. Or to get through a certain area, you want to pay them not to attack you. Yeah, that's. I don't think I would do that, because I figure out a different way, personally, because you pay them and then they just come and steal what you got. So, because if they're pirates, they're going to be pirates. You just don't pay pirates. You don't. What do you call it?
Strengthen the hand that fights you.
You don't negotiate with terrorists.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because even if you give them what they want, they'll still take the rest.
That is very true. But I'm saying, for say our sector, that they would want safe passage through our sector. We'd be like, what, we're not going to charge you a fee, but when it comes time for us needing merchandise, give us a percentage off. Right.
That you're right. Because we plan, like our unit plans to be in a specific system, and we plan to ensure that the pirates don't get a foothold there, or and that's true. So how are we gonna curtail those costs? Because we're gonna have to shoot ammo, and so how are we gonna get the money back without being pirates of the pirates? You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna go rob the pirates. So we're gonna have to work on that. We're gonna have to figure out exactly how we're going to make it economically feasible for us to do that, other than just be a merchant. Like, everybody wants to play, have fun, blow each other up and stuff, but you have to finance your missions. You got to find a way. And now, as luckily with us, with a unit, we have multiple people. Some can be doing missions and making money while others are doing the dangerous work. But that's that's something we're gonna have to work about. But let's not talk about us.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I want to add something to the economy part.
Yeah.
Not only, speaking about the NPCs.
Okay, good. Yeah.
The other races.
Right.
Are also going to be involved in business.
Remember
when they had the article? They set up a hearing talking about the Xi'an coming into UE space, setting up a business,
like a fuel depot or something like that.
Right.
And are they going to let them do it? Yeah,
because they wanted to undercut, they wanted to underbid,
right,
and try to drive out the residents, the indigenous people there, and try to drive them out of business. So you're going to have other races that's going to be setting up different businesses around the verse, and you're going to have to contend with those prices and deal with the economy going to crap, due to the flow of money becoming watered down or worthless.
Right. And that's something that that they are going to have to really monitor closely, in my opinion, this is what I think is going to happen, and this is just me projecting into the future. I think that they are going to have a lot of shops and a lot of factories and a lot of manufacturing nodes and stuff that are going to need stuff. Stuff is going to make stuff, or places are going to make stuff. Other places are going to need stuff, and then they're going to have the game create these missions for people to take junk from point A to point B and make money. And that's going to be like an ongoing thing. Now, I don't think that these factories that are creating these missiles, let's say, is ever going to run out of money. It's always going to be able to buy more supplies to make missiles, and I don't think they're going to work into it. Are they making a profit or not? I would love to see if they are, because then you see like a factory go out of business or something. But then it's just too. To me, that's just too. You only have a couple of hundred people working at CIG, right? You're not going to have, and they're not all economists, and they're not each one of them's not a shop owner, and you'd need to have 1 million of them to run the world if you allowed that to happen. So it's going to be like that shop will never go out of business unless the GMs or the game masters are going in and they have a script that says, okay, on the 5th month of the game, this planet here, everything goes bankrupt and it becomes a desert world or something, and then that would change I think those things would be scripted, automated. I don't think that's going to be, I know we're supposed to be able to affect the way the economy goes. If a lot of people carry cargo to a certain planet, it's going to become more prosperous, more nodes will open, more population will move to that planet. But I don't know how they're going to implement that. And I'd like to see that happen that way, but I don't think so. I think they're just going to automate it.
Mr. E, I'm reading the May transmission from Matthew Billio, the producer.
Okay.
Where he's actually, he just kind of mentions it, and it's a really short paragraph. It's just, a short sentence, but he's saying, in economy design, we've started identifying which factories, vendors, and natural resources are located in which system. Some of this data, some of it, has already been entered into the economy tool, which is going to allow us to simulate different economic scenarios. So that in itself tells me that, yes, like what you were saying, yes, a lot of it's going to be NPC driven, but I think that what is also going to happen is that the NPC driven economy is also spurning on specific scenarios or specific lines as far as adventure lines, or almost like a quest line I could see where a player could follow a specific or players could follow a specific path in terms of gaining access to more stuff. And in fact, that was, and again, it looks like Matthew Billio has been the one that's really been heading up the economy. And he was originally, what he was talking about was, he was saying that they were continuously working on creating the core of the economic situation, working actively on both the back-end simulation services as well as front-end tools that are going to allow us to drive the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but we're 1/10 of the universe. So,
right.
Yeah. So I can see where that's a pretty big chunk. That's 10% of the universe. So what we do will affect the universe, but don't forget those other 90% we don't have any control over.
Right.
But they might also be stupid. So, they're just doing what they've always done, and they're not ingenuitive or anything like that, where we might come up with this new trade route or new something that NPCs would never have thought of. I don't know. I just hope it. I hope it is half of what they're saying it's going to be.
Well, yeah. But if you look at his design that he was talking about, he's saying that design continues to put a heavy focus on bringing our economy system into a testable state, so we're neck deep in spreadsheets about how things are put together, where they're found, and what they're worth.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that tells you there. It gives you a good idea as far as how this economy is going to be based. The fact that we have the ability to find stuff that's going to increase, what we can do, or how much we can sell, or what we can sell something for. So I mean, it's very interesting as far as how they're going to develop this economy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the node outputs, is looking on here on the RSI site, talking about all the different parameters that's gonna be needed in order for a particular node or factory to be successful. And four of those things are your production cycle, the number of units that are produced. Look at this, worker morale. So your NPCs have to be happy.
Right.
They have to have a certain level of percentage of morale to make good product. And then the equipment percentage, the size of the facility, the quality of the equipment, and like Pereset said, the max of how much you can produce, and the material coefficient, minimum percentage available of all required construction units. So all of these things is going to take place, and everybody that has, or any org that's going to own any one of these factories that's producing any one of these types of consumables is going to have to keep track of this.
Right.
And when these things are not in place, this can cause a node to go out of business, and that has an impact on the economy of the organization and the economy as a whole.
Right. What I might be a little bit afraid of is some of these big organizations in the game, like let's say the Imperium, okay, or the Convoy. If they were able to get a unified mind, which currently right now they're not unified, they're a bunch of different smaller groups. But in my opinion, if they had a unified mind and a council that they decided exactly what they wanted to do, they could take their membership and they could run out to all the different nodes, find out what they are, right? And then occupy, buy, or take over a specific type of node. Let's say, I'm just using the same one over and over and over again. Let's say all the iron nodes they own, right? Then they could set the price for iron at whatever price they want. They can, if it's normally 1 credit, they could make it 100 credits, and then people will either buy it or they won't buy it, and then they could ruin the economy in the game by doing that. And I'm not saying that they would want to do that. I'm not saying they're trying to ruin anything. I think that greed is what drives a lot of people. And if they do that, I don't think CIG would allow that kind of manipulation to happen. I think they would step in and say there are nodes that can't be owned by players, or there will be things like that.
Well,
that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead, Pereset.
Well, no, I'm just looking over, while we've been talking, I've been looking over the different worlds. I don't know if any of you have been doing that. But right now I'm looking at, the way the trade is based, you can see that it's not just going to be transporting stuff. For example, I'm looking at the Gauss system that one of the first systems that they came out with, and their export is going to be elements, okay? But there's a paragraph here that says all 3 of God's planets are inhabitable. The bulk of the system's economy comes from tourism. But Gaussians pride themselves on being self-sufficient. So they're long-haul traders. It says long-haul traders find few bargains here as the system produces little worthy of export and gathers its raw materials internally, mining and harvesting resources from the inner planets as needed. But then when you look at the systems like the Killian system that I was looking at, now the Killian system is totally different. Because when you look at the economy of the Killian system, it's military.
Right.
Killian's going to be military, and that's what it's saying here. It's saying that they're where is it here? It says it's a signing symbol of UEE military might, located at the heart of the empire. Home to hundreds of military barracks, training facilities, shipyards, and support facilities, and the other planets that are in the system. Magma is a mining outpost. MacArthur is going to be the Navy headquarters, and OSHA is going to be it's a small terraform world, but it doesn't really say any. It says there's some profit to be made shipping to OSHA. So you can see where this is going to be, how things are going to be working. It could be food, it could be anything. It may not be, it could be perishables, for example. Looking at the Ellis system, another example, it says that as far as the Ellis system goes, it says that the most populated planet is Green, Compost, and Noble is what it's Ellis 4, and it's going to revolve around racing. The only thing I could think of there is that if you have you could have someone in a unit with one of those racing, what is one of those racing ships?
M50.
Yeah, that.
Or the Origin 300R.
Yeah,
it's RSI 350.
Yeah, so my guess would be there.
Yeah.
That you would have, it would be almost like, what was it? It was.
Or is it Origin? I think it's RSI. Yeah. I don't even know.
Or remember, Star Wars had that too. One of their things where you had to race and you would make your money that way.
Right.
With racing purses. So I can see it's easier to see what when you start looking at these galactic guides that are in the old transmissions. It's an easy thing to see as far as where things could go.
Mm-hmm. Right. I remember someone talking about that. I forget what planet and system that was, but there was a planet that all it required was food and water. That food and water just be delivered to that community. Now that goes back to what I was saying earlier, that every player and every NPC is going to have to find a niche. And one small example, let's look at the Starfarer, right? You could have the Starfarer, which is a liquid transport hauler, and the pilot of that ship can do it two ways. He can be his own business person, his own boss, and deliver liquids, fuel, milk, or what have you. Or he can also be paid by just serving the unit that he's in, and that makes money, and you have what else you was talking about, the planet with the military. They're gonna need bullets, they're gonna need missiles, they're gonna need explosives, they're gonna need ships, You know, they're gonna need to be refitted, and so a player or NPC can find a niche in that too. So everything is gonna have to be accounted for till its entirety. You know, and that's good that you brought that up.
And just because it's not like a production node or a manufacturing node going from planet to planet, you're still carrying cargo from one planet to another. It's either going to be consumables, or it's like food and water or whatever, or it's going to be tourists. You know, they're going to be passengers, or they're going to be luxury items or something. That's still stuff that is being carried on a ship from point A to point B. But there are other ways to make resources, money, like the racing, because you're not carrying anything except yourself through the track. But no, there's other ways too, like a mercenary unit. They would not necessarily have to carry. They would not necessarily have to carry cargo. They could just carry, or they could just escort someone who is carrying cargo. So they would have to charge that merchant ship a fee to protect them. And then now you notice we're all talking from the right side of the law. Don't forget there's the other side. There's the pirates and the smugglers. And then there's the guys trying to stop the pirates and the smugglers. And so there's a lot of different ways. Now, before we close out this show, because we're getting pretty close to time, there was something that was mentioned to me, and I want to kind of share that you can manipulate it if you pose as a good guy. Let's say, like let's just use a unit, an organization out there, XYZ. They pose as good guys, and they advertise that we will escort you anywhere for any fee, for the lowest price. We'll escort you to the highest risk area. Okay. And that's the advertisement. And they have a partner organization that works with them that are pirates. Okay. So this good guy and this bad guy organization are truly one organization, but they've split off to kind of make it seem like they're two separate organizations. One organization can go to a planet and they pirate the ships trying to deliver iron, right? And then once the iron prices go up, then that good organization, even though it might be the exact same players, will say, we'll escort you over there to get that iron because the price is so high that people are going to pay an incredible amount. But because it's so dangerous, there's these, the Dread Pirate Roberts is over there. Let's go. We're going to charge you an arm and a leg to escort you. And so they pay the escort fee. They never get attacked because their pirate buddies are not attacking them. And so you can manipulate the economy, is what I'm saying. Depending on if you know what people need, and if you've got the resources to be a pirate, then all you got to do is log out and log in as your legitimate guy, or have a second character or whatever. You could come in and you can reap the rewards. You could make the prices go up, because of the supply and demand rules, so that the prices are going up, and then you rush in there with your pirate or your merchant and collect. What do you think about that?
Right, that sound like black market. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got the black market, the gray market, all of that's going to take place. Being able to say, hey, you came across some kind of way a pirate guy, and he knows that he's a pirate, but he decided upon himself that, I'm going to make me a little bit of money on the side for myself. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these good fellas bring him up on my ship, like you said, charge him an arm and a leg, escort him through my neck of the woods,
Right.
and let him do what he got to do. And then here's another flip side to that. Shoot him and take his stuff and keep it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And so there's just too many angles. There's angles from all over the place. So it seems like you're gonna have to find you're gonna just do your best to try to make some money, being a merchant or not, or escorting merchants, or just racing, or being a ground pounder, or whatever. And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, yeah. One of the things I'm looking at right now was Irishdon Dynamics. It's going to be one of the weapons manufacturers in Star Citizen.
Yeah.
And what I'm reading here, this is the first two paragraphs. So it says that Irishdon Dynamics is the United Empire's premier producer and distributor of both quantum cascade lasers and a wide variety of electron guns. They're also the single largest outsourced producer of standard munitions warheads for military contracts and the third largest refiner of antimatter precursor in today's economy. Though few finished products bear the Irishdon name, the raw materials and manufactured components are found in nearly every piece of space technology in flight today. Copies of Irishdon dyes are used in manufacturing facilities across the galaxy, with illegal copies even crossing the border for use in Xeon production hubs. So I can see on that dark side as well as the light side in terms of where this is going to be going, not just for planets, but also as far as within, when we're going on these worlds, talking to agents for these companies.
Mm-hmm.
And those would be the NPCs we're talking about.
Right, smuggling. When you have produced materials being sold on the open market or the stock market, we could have talked about that too. That's going to be in game for trading on the stock market as well. But then when you can go to a place and buy something for full price for the recommended price out of a store or whatnot, but then at the same time you can go and say, well, I'm gonna fly out here. I know a little spot, some people out here, they got some of this same stuff, but they selling it for cheap, but it's brand new. They smuggled it in from somewhere else, or they hijacked it, or they stole it, or whatever. Or they bought it for the regular price, and then they did something to it. But you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be those type of things where a player can go get the same thing but for cheap, and also be able to buy it and smuggle it in and then sell it to somebody else and say, hey, look, just give me something for it, and then you could take it and do whatever you want to do with it. You know what I mean? All that stuff gonna take place.
Well,
it is.
Yeah, and let me throw this out.
Okay, this is going to be the last thing. Go ahead, Pereset.
Okay. The possibility of factions. The possibility of factions in this universe. Because in looking at this, my guess would be that on the flip side, you would have corporations like this, NPCs wanting to ship stuff that they don't want anybody to know about to specific, which is not illegal. However, they want it secret. So now what we're talking about is you or your unit having to build up faction. And faction could be points of trust, for example. So you're shipping, maybe you start out by shipping minerals or something, or supplying them with something, and that's what builds up your faction, which builds up your trust, which builds up the more lucrative contracts that you might have within these companies or worlds.
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna step in.
that.
I'm gonna step in real quick before you finish. They've already said that there is going to be a scale for reputation, and you're going to have a reputation on being a good merchant, or a reputation for being a pirate, or a reputation for being a good fighter pilot. So you're going to have a reputation system that I'm sure will go into deciding. And he did say that certain people with a record of doing certain missions will get the more lucrative missions going forward. They'll either be more dangerous, or they'll be more, and they'll probably also include a higher pay. So as you develop your skill, your what's the word I'm looking for? Not reputation, but as you build your standing amongst the similar skill set, then you will be getting better missions. So it falls into line exactly what you're saying. You're calling it a faction, but the you are going to get a reputation score. And if you do something bad to someone, like if you carry a passenger from point A to point B and he's hated that experience because you took 15 different detours, he could say on your reputation score that this guy sucks. So that when you go in to hire somebody, you can see their reputation and what basically feedback. You can see what kind of scores they have. And if they have a lot of negative scores, then you don't hire them. All right, sorry, go ahead. Pereset.
I was done.
Oh, okay, good. I jumped in at a good time then. Okay, well, I just want to close out the show today. I just wanted to point out to our audience out there that was able to stick around and watch us for this long that we do have 2 streams going. We have one on Twitch and we have one on YouTube going simultaneously, and now I've put up on the screen right over there the chat from the YouTube. So if you were in YouTube and you were chatting, other people on the show could actually see what you were having to say. And keep it classy. Okay.
Right.
All right. So thanks for coming out and checking out the stream. We're going to see you next time. What do you think a good topic would be? Ships. I was thinking talking about some of the unusual, some of the ships, like bringing in some comparative, like what some ships could be used for, and what our interpretations or opinions of them are.
I'm all for that.
Okay, that's what we'll do. Episode 3 will be some ships. I'll pick a few ships, and that's what we'll focus on. We might have a couple of shows that revolve around ships, just to get, because hell, we could do one show on one ship if we wanted to, but let's not do that. Let's kind of take about maybe 5 or 6 ships per show until we get them all knocked out. Okay. Well, you guys got any final thoughts before I close it out? Because I've got my button hovering over stop stream.
Last thing I would have to say is that anybody who wants to check out further details, check out the Star Citizen site on economy and look up engineering and type in economy, and you'll be able to watch a video and read up on it. So
there you go. Yeah, and always go to the website, the RSI website. And if you're interested in a cool aerospace marine unit, join the 1st Royal Aerospace Squadron.
Hoorah!
See you in the verse.